defining component of ECC is that CPP clinicians share their recommendations and expertise during the hearing to inform decisions.
Yes, child-parent psychotherapy is going well. I think the children are having a little struggle with adjusting, so all the back and forth has been kind of challenging, and mom's really open to help in getting a routine set up.
Aside from giving formal testimony during trials, CPP clinicians inform judicial decision-making in two important ways. CPP clinicians offer general knowledge regarding attachment science, early childhood and brain development, relationships, and trauma to better inform decisions such as frequency of visitation, whether supervised or unsupervised visitation is needed, and progress towards reunification. They also offer case-specific recommendations using their knowledge, expertise, and information gathered from their work with the family. Listen to Christy Skokeland's description of the perspective that the CPP clinician brings to court, specifically regarding relationships.
The judge comes to the table with their expertise. They're there to rule over cases and make decisions that are based on law. We sprinkle in a lot of best interest. We sprinkle in a lot of infant mental health and brain development, relationship between the parent and the child, and how important relationships are in the lives of young children. So when we come to the table with that knowledge, it really does help the judge think about these children in the context of the relationships that they're in with not just their primary caregiver, who might be a relative or a foster family, but also how that's going to work in terms of reunification with their birth family and what needs to happen there.
And here's Christy talking about bringing her knowledge of child development into the court.
Helping them understand normal development is really important. It is something that a judge probably didn't learn in law school. And not only is it important just in making decisions about visitation and placement, but also about timelines and plans that need to happen around those things. So, sometimes we know that it is the right thing to do to move a child or to reunify, but knowing that the child has been with a particular caregiver for so long, we don't want to just disrupt that child immediately with no transition plan. So coming up with a developmentally appropriate transition plan based on the things that we know about regarding brain development and relationships is really, really, really important. It cannot be underestimated.
As you have heard, the CPP clinician plays an important role, sharing general knowledge to inform judicial decisions. Now, hear Dr. Hutchinson provide an example of a case-specific recommendation. CPP clinicians are highly skilled in observing young children who cannot verbally communicate their needs and in assessing the parent-child relationship and coaching parents to strengthen their relationships with their child. Based on the work with the family, they are well positioned to provide insight to help inform judicial decision-making.
In a nutshell, the judge had to make a decision. Their recommendation was to reunify the 2-year-old and the 3-year-old. So my recommendation from a clinical lens was, we need to give this mom has been working really hard. So we need to give this mom opportunity to make sure she's able to build that bond with that baby, to be able to put in some structure in place where she could work on the relationship with the baby, and also so the baby could make sense of developing that secure relationship and attachment to say to mom is going to be here when I wake up in the morning. Mom is going to be here when I cry. Mom is going to comfort me. So the baby needed that predictability and that consistency. So the recommendation was for the baby to go home early before the 2-year-old and 3-year-old, to give mom that opportunity to establish some routine, some predictable in the relationship, some consistency. So this baby could know that mom is going to be here. Anyway, the recommendation was honored. The baby was sent home with mom. After the baby was sent home with mom says, Dr. Hutchinson, the first night was a roller coaster, because the baby cried, and I cried because I could not soothe the baby. It's like the baby didn't know who I was. But then I remember what you said, always be there for him and always comfort him and talk to the baby. A week passed, did session with the mom. The mom says, Dr. Hutchinson, the baby doesn't have the reflux anymore. And my baby's laughing and smiling all over again. I really did not understand what you were talking about when you said young babies actually grieve for separation, and young babies experience trauma symptoms also when they're exposed to domestic violence. Just imagine, had all those 3 children been reunified with her, would have set that mom up for failure. So the power of the therapeutic process and the power of being that eyes and ears for the judicial system and also for the team is extremely important.
In summary, as you have heard from these 2 clinicians, CPP providers have a critical role in court, sharing general child development as well as case-specific recommendations.